Good morning, and thank you for being here this morning as we gather around this holy altar to celebrate the Eucharist together and to celebrate the Feast of Epiphany. Over Christmas break, I went to visit a lifelong buddy of mine. We grew up together and we've still remained good friends. And he's married now and he has 4 little children. And he told me that after Christmas, he gave his wife a night off, that the girls could go out and have a girls' night out. And as he watched their 4 kids, they decided to put on a Christmas play for him. They decided that they were going to put on this Christmas play. So they had him gather into the living room, and they turned the piano bench upside down, and there, laying wrapped in swaddling clothes, was a bright flashlight. The flashlight was turned on, and it was supposed to be baby Jesus. Then his 6-year-old son Rex came in, and Rex had his bathrobe on, and he was holding the mop upside down, and he was representing St. Joseph. Nancy, age 10, she came in, and she had his wife's house coat on, a bright blue house coat, and she pronounced that she was the Blessed Mother. She was Mary. And their youngest daughter, Trudy, came in, and Trudy had 2 white pillowcases on her arms, and she was waving her arms, and she announced that she was the angel. She was the angel. But what really got his attention was when Annie came in. Annie is 8 years old, and Annie had his wife's 8-inch high red platform shoes on. And she looked like she was riding a donkey as she was trying to walk on those high-heeled shoes. And she had all kinds of red lipstick all over her face, all kinds of crazy jewelry, a little crown. And she announced proudly that she was all 3 of the kings. She was all 3 of the wise men. And she said, "I am here to present gifts of gold, circumstance, and mud." Gold, circumstance, and mud. My dear family, as we gather here on this holy morning, and as we celebrate the Feast of Epiphany, we're intrigued by the wise men, aren't we? We're completely intrigued by the wise men. I love the responsorial psalm that we sung together, that Jim and Deanne and the woodwinds led us through. And I told the kids as we were preparing for Mass, that kind of music makes me think of what was being played as they traveled to go see the Christ child. We're told that there was a caravan with the wise men. They weren't just traveling, the 3 of them, there was a caravan of them. And no, that wasn't one of those little minivans with the dual sliding doors and all kinds of seats and all kinds of cup holders. The caravan was probably 300 some people. All these people were together because the wise men were so excited about what was going on that their excitement was infectious to the other people around them. And all these people wanted to go and see what was attracting the wise men to make this long journey. So we're told that they're going on this journey, and did you see what happened? They got lost. The guys stopped and they asked for directions. Okay, ladies, you can say, "See, we told you so." Us guys get beat up because we don't ask for directions. So here's 3 guys that actually asked for directions. But do you see the trouble it caused? They stopped at King Herod's place, and he was intrigued by all of these people. He was intrigued by everything that was going on. And they announced that there was a new king that was born, and they were going to see him, and could he give directions? But when he found out, he felt threatened. He was scared, he was angry, and he felt threatened that his power was going to be taken away from him. So he told them, "Go find out where this kid is at, and then come back and tell me so I can go and pay him homage too." But we all know that that's not his motive. His motive was to go and kill this Christ child because he felt threatened. Well, they leave there, and we're told that they finally find the Christ child. But as they're going, that star rises brightly above them again. And did you hear their excitement? Behold, the star that they had seen at its rising preceded them. And they were overjoyed at seeing that star. They knew they were getting close. The excitement was even getting stronger. And we're told that as they went into the house, they were completely at peace and they were amazed because they found our God. They found the King. And they prostrated themselves and gave him the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But I don't want you to miss the last detail of the story. Did you hear the very last detail? We're told that after having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. Their story ends, their journey ends by being obedient to God. They listened to what he told them in that dream, and they were obedient and went back a different way. My dear family, as we celebrate this feast of the Epiphany, I think little Annie had it right when she was presenting the gifts to our God, and she was giving gifts of gold, circumstance, and mud. Today, as we gather here on this holy day, our God wants our gifts of gold. He wants everything that's so important to us. And that most important thing that he wants from all of us is simply our hearts. He wants our hearts. He wants us to give him our hearts because he wants to love us. He wants to take care of us. He wants to help us on this journey of life. He also wants to be part of our circumstances. We all have different circumstances, good and bad and in between. He wants to be part of those circumstances. He wants to know in a very special way that we trust him to help us through all of those circumstances. And he wants our mud as well. Don't be afraid to share it with him. Nothing's going to embarrass him. He's seen it all. He wants our mud because he wants to pick us up. He wants to wash us off. He wants to clean us up. And he wants to help each of us on our journey of life. My dear family, as we gather here this morning, did you hear the beautiful reading that Joe's read, the first reading from the prophet Isaiah? The prophet Isaiah says, "See, darkness covers the earth, and thick clouds cover the peoples." That's the circumstance. That's the mud that little Annie was kind of saying about. But did you see what the prophet went on to say? "But upon you, all of us, the Lord shines, and over you, all of us, appears his glory." Upon you the Lord shines, and over you appears his glory. That star that attracted the wise men so many years ago is still shining brightly. I'm one of the few people that have keys to this beautiful, beautiful church. And one of the things I love to do at night, and even more so during Christmas, is before I wrap up my day, I come into this dark church and I turn on just the lights over the tabernacle. And right now during Christmas, I turn on those little Christmas trees as well. And as I come in here in the darkened church, it reminds me that that light is still shining, and he is. He's here completely present in the Eucharist, body and soul, truly to help us on this journey of life. And that shining star is shining brightly, and he simply wants us to offer those great gifts. The gifts of gold, what's important in our life, those circumstances, all that mud. He wants us to invite him into all those areas of our lives so that we can see that bright star shining in our lives. Our opening prayer reminded us that in a very special way. And the opening prayer, or opening hymn that we sung, "As with gladness men of old," we all sung together, "So may we with hurried pace run to seek your throne of grace." That's what the wise men did. They ran with hurried pace. They ran to seek his throne of grace. That's why we're here this morning. We're here to receive that throne of grace. So our God, that light, appears before us this morning. He simply wants the gift of our lives. May we throw wide open the doors of our hearts, and may we allow his light to truly brighten each and every one of our lives.